Creepers left to rise, buzz like crazy. Everybody's trying to stimulate it. Spiders in the mirror and feel this can't be right. Back to the scene of a Friday night, to a blessed collision still frozen tight. Spear drinkers, Cupid and the sound of her first chime. And why did you argue? Dreaming of those eyes, the best part of my life.
Hi, how are you doing? Can you? No, I don't want to come up here. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. So, it's Saturday, and this is sort of a special impromptu reading vlog. I've already was in the process of filming a reading vlog, but last night I got an email that said that I had just been sent the ARC for Kennedy Ryan's new release Real, which comes out June 8th. So naturally I dropped everything, changed my reading plans, and decided to start a new reading vlog dedicated to this book. This is my most anticipated release of 2021. I have been hugely excited for this book and could not wait for it to come out. And I only started reading Kennedy Ryan last year, but she has very quickly jumped all the way to the top of my favorite author list. She is, without a doubt, my favorite author of all time. I cannot get enough of her books. I feel like she captures emotion better than any other author that I've ever read. I feel like she is able to really capture true, deep love. Like I feel like there's something that is just so completely magical about her books. I have never read a book by her, and I've read her entire backlist except for one book, which I am reading also which I have obviously put on hold as I read this book, but I have been working on reading her entire backlist, and I only have one book to finish other than Real. And I can say without a doubt that there has never been a book that she has written that I have ever been disappointed in the love story. It just honestly has been... She just does such a great job of building chemistry and connection that goes beyond, like, it just goes beyond so much. It feels really like a soul level connection, you know. It goes beyond attraction, it goes beyond friendship, there's just something about the way that she writes her relationships that is just completely magical, and it just gets me every single time. So I have just recently been reading her first series that she published, the Bennett series. Books 1 and 2 I really enjoyed, but they were 4-star reads for me, which is still really high up there, you know. Book 3 in that series blew me away. It was fantastic, it was emotional, it was heart-wrenching, it was... Don't mind the Kazi on the floor. He just has to be noisy when I get in here to talk to you. It was everything that I expect from a current Kennedy Ryan read, and it really felt to me, like in book 3, that Kennedy had realized her writing power fully for the first time. Like, it felt like that was her really finding her writing voice in that book, and it was powerful and beautiful, and that one was a 5-star read for me. I loved it. It was so good, and there is just a really beautiful scene in there. The hero is an artist. We see him in the first 2 books. He has a very damaged past. He's dealing with a lot of issues. There are trigger warnings in that book for sure for sexual assault, child abuse, loss of a parent. He's really dealing with some things, and it is essentially a friends to sort of antagonistic to finally lovers. It's just beautiful. There's a scene in there where the hero is an artist, and with the hero and the heroine, that is just one of the most beautiful scenes where he paints her. It's just perfection. So I can't say enough good things about her books. I think they're just perfection. I think she is one of the most powerful and important romance writers today, and I feel like her books really transcend the romance genre, and she talks about things that are really important as far as like social inequalities with racial inequalities, and just she brings awareness to so many different issues, but she never does it in a way that feels preachy or that feels pedantic. It just really is powerful and beautiful and moving. So I am beyond thrilled that I have this arc. I have already started it. I started it last night, and then I've been reading it this morning. I'm on chapter 6 right now, and this is a very long book. According to my Kindle, it says it's going to take me about 6 or 7 hours to finish reading, which is pretty long compared to most of the books that I read on my Kindle are usually about 4-hour reads. If you go on it will finish in this amount of time. So, but that is all that I plan to do today, other than I do have a live show that I'm scheduled to be on later with Jessen and Jen. So that will be fun. And Juliet Cross, who wrote Wolf Gone Wild, which is my favorite paranormal romance, and also Tiffany from Instagram. So that will be fun later, but up until then I plan to just read. I also am not feeling great today. I have a chronic illness, and I have definitely had a lot of flare-ups this week and have not been feeling 100%. So today I'm just taking the day to just relax and read, and I am just thrilled that I have this book. So let me tell you a little bit about what Real is about. This book is about two people. Our hero is a very famous film director. He is a filmmaker. He has made some documentaries that have really propelled him into the limelight. He's a very sought after director. Everyone wants to work with him. Actors, actresses, everyone wants to work with him because he is just so well loved. So he is known for his documentaries, and he has recently decided to do just a movie about a black woman who was a very famous but very little, not famous, she was very talented and did a lot for the jazz music movement, but nobody really knew who she was, so he found her story and he's going to tell it on the screen in a big time movie. So he's trying to find who will play this woman, the actors who will play him, and he ends up going to a Broadway show with his friend who is a very famous music composer or musician, and at this Broadway show they end up seeing the heroine, who is filling in for, I guess, standing in, I can't remember exactly what that term is called, whoever the main actress is for this Broadway play. So she is up there singing and dancing, and the cool thing about this is that the heroine, Neva, her name is Neva, for the first time she is portraying the character in this Broadway play. She's for a black woman for the first time, so that feels like really powerful and really profound. And there's this moment when she comes off stage where little girls are just so excited to see themselves up there on Broadway. So it's a really beautiful moment there. Also, I want to say that I will not be spoiling this book for you. I want everyone to watch this vlog who wants to, because I think everyone needs to read this book. It's just beautiful. So that's the basic premise of it. The hero ends up seeing the heroine Neva play this part, and he immediately wants to have her for the role in the movie that he's making. And he has had a little bit of a tricky past, I guess. He's had some problems in the past in a relationship that he had with an actress who worked on one of his films. So this is obviously going to be the love match in this book, but there's that forbidden element to it where he's like, I'm never going to have a relationship with one of my actresses again. So that is the basic setup of it, and I will say that from the first paragraph of this book, I was just transported into this world, into this modern day world, but it was so rich and it felt so unique and it just felt so beautifully rich with culture, and it just, I'm just blown away. Her writing is beautiful and fantastic. I don't have enough adjectives to describe her writing. Her writing is deeply moving to me. There were several times, and I'm only on chapter 6 that I've been reading this, where I literally got chills, and I highlighted so many parts already, and I have a feeling in my heart that this book is going to be a 6-star 11 out of 10 book for me. Like, I just have a feeling that it's going to be. I am so excited about it. So I think that already in chapter 6, we have seen the hero and the heroine meet up, and it again has that feeling, that vibe that I get with Kennedy's writing, where their initial meeting is a little complex and it's very fun to read, but you get that, honestly, like, I just feel it, like, in my gut, where you just know that this is a meeting unlike any other. It's just a soul level connection, and I'm ecstatic and very excited. So that is my very, very, very long introduction to this vlog. I plan to update you on how I feel. Like I said, I'm not going to be spoiling this book at all. I don't want to have any spoilers in here, so I'm just going to give you my reactions and my feelings, and I will kind of, in a very vague way, reference why I feel that way. But I'm very excited, and I'm in love with this book already, so I will check in with y'all when I have read more and have more to update you on. Hello, good morning. I have an update for Real. I didn't get too much time to read it yesterday, sadly, but I have been reading it a lot in the night and early this morning. I'm 25% of the way into it, and I have a few thoughts that I want to share, and all of them have to do with the feelings that I'm having, and mostly just my admiration for Kennedy Ryan. Like, I feel like, you know, I mentioned earlier that I have been reading her Bennett series. It's the last books of hers that I have to read to have read her entire published books, not novellas or short stories. But so I don't know if it's because I just read that and I was still very impressed with those. Like, the third book I gave 5 stars. It was so good. And even the first one was very impressive to me because it showed her spark of talent was there, you know. It was just, and reading that and knowing how she has grown her talent to today was just incredible. And I still wasn't prepared for Real. Honestly, I was not prepared for how completely beautiful and what a masterpiece that this book is. And I know I'm only 25% of the way in, and I will say this is definitely not a fast burn book, but there is so much attraction between the couple, and there's so much chemistry, and there's so much introspection about the things that they like about the other person. Like seems like such a trivial word. Or the things that they're noticing, the things that they are drawn to, the things that are different about this person to them. And that is what I love about Kennedy Ryan. She's really able to articulate that so well, that when you meet your person, the one who is meant for you, you feel differently. And it's so hard for me to explain, but Kennedy does it perfectly. She just puts that into words and in a feeling that makes you really truly believe in soulmates and true love. And I'm so engrossed in their story already. And like I said, like, I'm 25% of the way in. This is a longer book, and their story is just getting started. So we're having a lot of rich backstory about the history of the singer, the black woman singer that they're doing the movie about. And so we get to see parts of that screenplay actually in the book, which is really fun. It's just a masterpiece. It's just so stunning. There's some commentary about how, I think I mentioned earlier about how Neva is a black woman actress, and she was the first one to play this role. There's a big sense and a big feeling of representation in this book for black women everywhere, I feel like, and I think that is such a powerful thing. And I know that as a white person I can't speak to how that might feel, but I can definitely appreciate it and think that it is just so beautifully done, and I am so happy to be a part in reading Kennedy's books. I just feel like they're so beautifully powerful. A few other things that I wanted to talk about. So other than just the races that are represented here, there is a vast spectrum of representation in this book. And I don't think I'm going to talk about what that is until it's released for sure, because I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say this book has really excellent representation for more ways than just Black people and Black love here, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing to read. Something else that really stood out to me is just something that I think I forget and that I don't mention very well is how good Kennedy Ryan is at doing humor. Like, I think I focus so much on the emotional powerhouse that she is and the angst that she brings that I forget sometimes that she's very witty and very funny, and there are just some inner monologue that Neva is having thoughts about the hero, and it's just so funny. Like, she captures that moment of having feelings for someone and being afraid that you're going to do something stupid and then kind of doing something stupid or saying something stupid, and it's so fun. It's just beautiful. I will try to keep each of these updates short and not 10 minutes long, but I just wanted to say that this truly is a work of art. This book is a work of art. This is a masterpiece. It's just beautiful, and I am here for the slow burn. I'm not sure how slow burn it is. It's 25% in, but it is very much a simmer, and it is very much forbidden, and I am loving it so much. Okay, I'm back for another quick update. Also, this is my Sunday reading goal. Just read more books, read all the books. This is by Hello Lovely Box. I'm a rep for them. My discount code and link to their shop is in the description if you ever want to pick something up. So, I'm 40% in. I am making more progress, and I just had so many thoughts. Like, the anticipation that Kennedy is building between this couple is so intense. She is such a master at building that anticipation before the first kiss and the first touch, when they're both really clearly fighting this attraction so much. And I think this is such an interesting dynamic between these two, because we have Cannon, who is the director, so he is a very powerful man. He's 7 years older than Neva, the heroine, who is the actress, who he specifically went and found to play this part. And she has this fragility to her character that is so beautiful. She has, like, this fragility and this humbleness, you know, like, she's a star, but she hasn't been discovered yet, and so she has a little bit of self-doubt and a little bit of fear about making it or not, and it's just such a beautiful story. It is so epic. I cannot, like, I just keep highlighting quotes that you will see when people get reading this. These are the things that people are going to be quoting this book about, and they're just absolutely beautiful. Like, the way that Kennedy is able to build so much feeling with something as simple as words. The woman, she is a master of her craft. This is incredibly beautiful, and I just finished one of my favorite scenes in the book so far, and it was so good. It was so beautiful. It was just, I just love it. I love the dynamics of this powerful, strong, kind of closed-off man feeling so much, or starting to feel so much, for this younger, and she's not necessarily young, like, she's 30, he's 37, but she's young in this world, and he's feeling so much for her, and he's a very jaded man, you know, like, he's been around Hollywood, he knows how it works, and he's very jaded, and so it's like watching him experience these new feelings for Neva is like watching someone fall in love for the first time, and it's like you're feeling it yourself, you know? It's so beautiful. I love it so much. I love it so much. I can't wait for everyone to read it. Okay, that's all. I just had to come and update you with that. My camera wants to focus on the portrait of my son back there instead of my face. It's just so beautiful. I want to hurry and get this, not really. I want to read this so I can get this video up so you guys can watch it, so everyone can hear how I feel about this book, but at the same time, like, I'm trying not to rush it. I want to savor this because it is such a beautiful, beautiful story. And I still have 60% left.
Oh, fear not the cold, for riddles shall unfold, and we were young and bold. We had our secrets. Pull up your shades and see.
Still reading, same day. I'm now 60% of the way through. And I keep trying to think of a way to compel you to read this without giving key plot points away. I feel like Kennedy has been pretty vague about certain plot points of this book that have since been revealed. At the end of the video, I will list any trigger warnings that I have seen, so if you need trigger warnings and you want to know what they are, they'll be there, and if you don't, you can just be done with the video. So those won't come until the very end of the video. But 60% of the way in, and the anticipation of them getting together has been building, and it has been so strong. And the heat level in this book is so high, and it's so beautiful. It is so, like, she creates so much intimacy in her steamy scenes. It doesn't even feel, it never feels gratuitous, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but something that I really appreciate about Kennedy's books is that every intimate, every steamy scene, every word used is building the story and is building the relationship, and it's unraveling layers, and it's such a beautiful thing to see. Canon is easily becoming one of my favorite heroes. Like, I feel like the really beautiful thing about this book, all of her books really, but this time as I'm reading it, is that you get to see Canon very slowly fall in love with Neva. Very slowly and so beautifully. And he is such an alpha character. Kennedy creates great alpha heroes. I love her heroes. They are so alpha, but at the same time they're so completely and hopelessly tender and gone for that one woman. It's just a thing of beauty. It's honestly, like, I feel like I have never been near tears from reading a sex scene in a book, but this one was so emotionally impactful, but also 5 out of 5 flames. It was so good. I cannot wait to talk spoilers with people who have read this. But at the same time, like, I'm very sad that I'm approaching the end, because I don't want to be done with Kennedy's book. Like, it's an incredible book. And Neva is such a beautifully unique heroine. You know, I feel like something that Kennedy does really, really well is she creates really strong heroines that are a very good match for the alpha heroes. I feel like Bristol from the Grip series is like that. I feel like Lennox from the Kingmaker series is like that. Kimba is absolutely like that. From Queen Move, you know, even Kai in her Soul series, her earlier series, like the Hoops women are incredibly strong. And Neva is she is a very strong heroine too. But there is such a fragility to her character and a vulnerable side to her that she keeps, that she's not afraid to like share with the world, with everyone, but also that she tries to kind of keep inside, and there's a part of that that she only shares with canon. It's just so beautiful. It is so completely beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading now. Well, I finished it, and I have so many feelings about this book, and I think this is one of those books that you're never going to forget. You know, this is the type of book that I think really transcends the romance genre. Whenever I hear people who don't know about the romance genre sort of criticize it or, you know, poke fun of it or act like it's stupid, I think of books like this. And I feel like you cannot overstate the impact that this book will have. I cried several times while I was reading this. I was completely swept away in the story. It was a beautiful, perfect book. 5 out of 5 stars, 10 out of 5 stars. This to me is Kennedy's best work. This is an incredible book. It's not light. It's not a lighthearted read. It deals with some really heavy topics, as is her usual, but she writes about them in such a beautiful way, in a way that it never feels hopeless, in a way that it never feels gratuitous ever. You know, I feel like she handles these topics with so much love and care. And I really love and appreciate the light that she shed on the Black creative people who lived at the time of Desi Blue, which is the story that they're making the movie about. She, you know, I talked about her earlier. I really, really loved that. I loved reading Kennedy's author note. I just absolutely adored this book. I'm on the verge of tears right now talking about it, because this book was perfect, in my opinion. It was perfect. It was swoony, it was steamy, it was funny, it was thought-provoking, it was just emotional in the best possible way. I feel like if you're a Kennedy Ryan fan, you're going to love this book. I think you were deeply going to love this book. I know that it's always kind of nerve-wracking when a favorite author comes out with a new book and you just are sort of like, you're extremely excited, but you're also like nervous, you know, that it may hold up to some of their other books that you love. And I can say without a doubt that if you love Kennedy Ryan, you're going to love this book. I think it's beautiful. This is a masterpiece of a book, and I cannot wait for everyone to read this. It felt like such a visual experience. It really felt like I was watching this movie, you know. It felt very cinematic. It was just perfect. I loved it so much. I did highlight 2 quotes that I'm going to read that I feel like do not give the story away, but they really highlight what I think Kennedy is doing in this book. And the first one is an example of how I feel Kennedy perfectly captures soulmate level love. I feel his heart in the look he gives me. Ours is a love so much richer and deeper than anything I could have dreamt or imagined, girded with trust and burning with passion. That forever kind of love that doesn't waver when times get tough and things go bad. The kind... that come what may kind of love. And every time he looks at me, I see it. It's just so beautiful, you know? Her books, not all of her books make me cry, but my favorites of hers definitely do. Their love story is perfection. It is so beautiful. Watching both of them, just their characters, like when you see them when you first start the book, how their characters are and how their love transforms them is just incredible. And then I saved this other quote, which I feel like really captures the theme. And this is actually a quote that Neva says a few times. It's from Old Town. It says, "Do any human beings ever realize life while they live it? Every minute? Saints and poets, maybe." I feel like there's a big theme in this book of living for today and not for tomorrow, to just love and enjoy every day that you're given, that it's a gift, you know? It was perfect. I loved it. And if I don't know, I think this book is just incredible. It was perfect. It was definitely perfect in my eyes. Kennedy is my favorite writer, and this book just completely blew me away. I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. I think that if you've seen or heard me talk about Still, the last book in the Grip trilogy, I had very similar feelings about. This book is still my favorite book of all time, and I feel like it is because of how deeply personal I connected with this book. It had a lot of themes that I also had in my life, and for the same reason I feel like that about Real. I feel like there are some themes in here that all people will be able to connect with. I loved it. It was a beautiful, beautiful book. I think no one else but Kennedy could have told this powerful, beautiful story. It was perfection. I adored it. So, that is the end of this reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed coming along on this journey with me as I experienced this book for the first time. I have thoroughly enjoyed every single second I was in that book, and I instantly want to go back and reread it. Like, that's how much I loved it. I'm not a rereader, but I want to experience that again. It was so beautiful. It was just perfect. I loved it so much. Thank you so much, Kennedy, if you're watching this, for sending me the ARC and for these books that you write. They're amazing, and I love them, and I'm proud to be a romance reader. Honestly, that book was incredible. So, thank you so much for watching. If you are new to my channel, please be sure to subscribe for future videos. And if you are wanting to know any of the trigger warnings that may be in this book, I'm going to talk about those right now, and if not, then I will sign off and see you in my next video. So the trigger warnings in this book are different from typical trigger warnings of Kennedy Ryan's, but I will say, and this may not be all of them, these are the ones that stood out to me, there is loss of a parent, there is chronic debilitating illness that is graphically portrayed, and there is also terminal illness in here. There is racism discussed, and I think that is all that I can remember right now. Just a beautiful book. So, thank you, my friends. I'll see you in my next video.